So my name is Karthik. I'm the founder and CEO at Strive Network, and we are building the protocol layer for NFTs and NFT utilities. So in a non-jargonistic way, that means that we are allowing for shareability and tradability for NFT utilities specifically. So what is the problem that we're trying to tackle is that in the last year, 1.5 years, NFTs have gone mainstream. And in the last 6, 8 months, we've seen a lot of these NFT projects not being able to grow. So they've moved towards building utilities. But what's happened is that a lot of these utilities continue to remain unused or underused. Because NFT projects struggle to grow, it's hard for them to retain their communities. We've seen NFT projects with 50,000 community members, but their holder base continues to be small, anywhere between 4,000 to 6,000. Out of this, about 20-25% of the holders actually use these utilities. So generally, any NFT project today has about 1,000, 2,000 people actually using the utilities of the project. And that's because these utilities are not in the hands of the entire community, but only in the hands of the holder base. Again, the market is purely driven by the investment side of things. A lot of these holders are looking for an ROI on their NFT investment. And if they don't get the ROI, they start selling these NFTs essentially. And today, it's very difficult to own NFTs in a customized way. You cannot own the NFT in the way you want to own it. Pick and choose sort of the utilities that you want with it, that come with it. So we are solving for this problem. And how are we solving is by enabling the shareability and tradability of the utility layer of NFTs. We're doing this in a couple ways. One is by creating unique fractions for each utility, such as token-gated event access, airdrops, staking, and much more. So if your NFT offers you event access, merge, airdrops, staking, and much more, you can create unique fractions and start listing them for sale or rent. So you can then put these up for sale or rent and start monetizing on the underused value of your NFT utilities. And you can also then start getting these utilities discovered on the Strive Network utility marketplace. So you don't have to sell your NFT, or someone doesn't have to own the entire NFT to start accessing the utility layer of these NFTs. You can go to these events, you can access staking, you can access airdrops without actually having to invest in the NFT. So what does our product essentially entail? There are three components. One is a marketplace, which is a utility-specific marketplace. So on our marketplace, there are no NFTs per se. It's just going to be utilities from various projects. So if there's BAYC that collaborates with us, we will have all the utilities of BAYC listed, and non-holders of BAYC can come and buy these utilities or rent these utilities. We have an SDK. It starts with an API and then eventually graduates to an SDK where basically projects can integrate with us, start getting their NFT holders to list or rent or sell their utilities on our marketplace. And then there's a launchpad where essentially NFT projects can come and launch new utilities, or projects or dApps can come and launch entire utility collections. So as I said, there's conditional ownership and fractional ownership of utilities, particularly, not NFTs. So what are the main features? You can buy, rent, subscribe to utilities. You can create fractions for these utilities, set conditions for the ownership of the utility, and as well as time-based ownership of these utilities. And why is it important to separate the utility layer from the NFT's intrinsic value? Is because it allows holders to continuously generate passive income. A lot of holders don't use all the utilities, and when they need liquidity, they end up selling the NFT. So now this way, when there's unused value, they can sell that unused value or rent it out. It allows the greater community to start accessing. Not everyone has money to buy a BAYC, but they want to attend BAYC events. And they want to basically get access to merch and staking and airdrops. So they can do that with spending much less money and become part of the sort of the community and get access to the services. And projects get access to ideal customers. So a lot of the customers of the project might be outside of the holder base. So projects can now get access to a larger community that might be interested in what they're building. And this also allows them to increase their community retention rates and continuously generate more revenue for themselves. So we're targeting a fairly quickly growing market. There's about 30 million NFT holders globally. And we're starting with Ethereum and EVM chains, moving on to Solana, and plan to be multi-chain over a period of time. Right now, there are 80,000 projects on Ethereum and about 50,000 on Solana, and total about $6.5 billion has been invested in NFTs globally. So we have a large user base currently in India with some presence in Dubai/Middle East, but we also have a very decent presence in Europe, and we're taking a pretty global approach right from the start. We, in terms of our target audience, we are B2B2C. So the main players that we're targeting are NFT collections with utilities, NFT collections looking to launch more utilities, dApps that are looking to launch utility collections. And then lastly, obviously on the consumer side, it's going to be the NFT users and general Web3 users in this space. Competitors, there are 3-4 players. It's not a very mainstream product that we're building. So there's Cardinal, that is one of the biggest players. Obviously, it's only on Solana right now, so it's not multi-chain, and also Cardinal does not have a marketplace side of things. Tropy is different in the sense that it only allows to create new utilities. It doesn't work with your existing utilities, so it doesn't allow for trading and sharing of existing utilities. And same with Cardinal, it does not allow for trading and sharing of existing utilities. Stream and Rentier do take a different approach, which is basically they allow for renting of NFTs so that the other user can get access. But in our case, we don't. The user does not need to lose access to their NFT. In the case of Stream and Renti, once you rent your NFT, you actually lose access to your NFT. In our case, the NFT remains in the wallet of the holder, and they can continue to monetize on these utilities. So those are some of the competitive advantages. Revenue model. We have, as I mentioned, we have a launch pad, so we charge 10% fees from that in terms of what is the collection or mint revenue. Annual subscription, it ranges from $5,000 to $10,000, depending on your community size, how many users are bringing in. And we have a monthly model as well, which can be anywhere between $1 to $2 per user per month. And we charge a 0.1% transaction fees on the platform. So we've been acquiring users through multiple ways. We've run live courses on crypto, NFT, metaverse. We do giveaways. We've launched our own utility collection on Solana, and we plan to launch our own token as well. So we've done some revenue, which was about 1.65 million last year. Total, we've done now 2 million. We have 150,000 plus community members who are also on the wait list for our product. Discord and Telegram about 60 and 10,000 plus. Yeah, in the coming months, we plan to launch our web app this month. Our mobile app goes live in the next 2 months. We've started partnership talks with the likes of Tezos, Polygon, Starknet, Asset Mantle, Push Protocol, Axelar. All of these are very interested in getting us on board, and we started technical integrations with a lot of them. And in terms of team, I graduated from UC Berkeley. I worked in their blockchain lab and been in the blockchain space for about 6 years. I also worked in Deloitte's blockchain team and went on to, after that, launch my own crypto fund that did a 20x in 1 year. And then I have my CTO on the call as well, Sanita. I'll let her introduce. And we have really good advisors. Since we're based in India, we have Anupam Mittal as our investor. He is also a judge in Shark Tank. We have the head of GeoGenNext Fund, which is the fund for Reliance, which is one of the largest conglomerates in India. So I'll let Sanita also jump in, introduce herself and her background once, and then we can go into the questions.
Yeah, sure. We don't have much time, so let's make it a bit more brief. Thanks so much, Sanhita.
I'm Sanhita. I've been in the space for the last 6 years, started as a quantitative analyst for a crypto investment bank called Almora. Later, worked on multiple projects with their DeFi architecture, refining their tokenomics and a lot of things, and worked on ESG compliance and getting ESG compliance onto blockchain with Richmond DAO, and started with Strive last year and helping with the tech.
Thank you. And we've raised 500K in pre-seed, raising 3 million as our seed round. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks so much for that. We'll move into the Q&A now.
Maybe Abdullah, maybe you want to go first this time.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Benjamin. So my question is, everything looks great. Given recent events, especially with what's happening with like Paxos, now Circle, whenever the word fractionalization is mentioned in crypto and blockchain, there's always a risk of whatever token is being fractionalized being considered a security. So how are you thinking about this from a regulatory perspective, especially if there's things like staking that are being fractionalized or rented out?
So frankly, there are two parts for this in the utility protocol where the NFT need not be in the user's wallet to get access to the utility. We are not fractionalizing anything there. It's just the access to the owner's wallet, read-only access through the owner's wallet that the user get and will be using the utilities. And I don't think there are any kind of regulatory challenges that we may face on this part. And fractionalization, we only use it for time-based ownership for gaming assets or music assets where the NFT has to be in the user's wallet for the experience. And time-based ownership, to brief about that, say, for example, all four of us have 25% of the stake in that particular gaming asset. All four of us will be getting 25% of the time to play with that particular NFT in that game. So that way, we are either, you are investing your time or money, it becomes fractionalized there or as well, right? So the time you invest to upgrade your gaming asset or the money you invest to get that gaming asset lessens over there. And I think there are hardly any regulatory compliance that we go through because of this, because we are not dealing with any kind of real-time assets at this point in time.
So also, I mean, in terms of compliance, we are operating out of Dubai as an entity. So we've already got the NFT marketplace license from there based on describing our activities and things like that. So from a compliance standpoint, we are compliant with the jurisdiction that we operate in.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe just to follow on to that. So I understand the part about like getting access to games and so on, but you also mentioned staking as something that is being fractionalized, if I'm not mistaken. So can you expand on that a bit, or like people being able to get the staking functionality out of an NFT that gives that utility?
No. So over there, what happens is there are financial utilities for all your NFTs, right? So like staking your NFT and or participating in some liquidity pools or airdrops and all of this. So for that, we have a different, we have another option for the users where, say, for example, the user doesn't have the bandwidth to manage their NFT or doesn't have the bandwidth, to stake and unstake on time and all of that. So he can actually give the delegate access to somebody else and have a profit sharing basis over there. So somebody else will be managing your staking and stuff on a profit sharing basis, like 80-20 or something like that.
Okay, understood. Thanks for that.
But maybe to add on that, doesn't it inflate then the uniqueness of NFTs and platform? So to get back to the example, let's say I have an NFT that represents an in-game asset in a specific video game, and it's like super unique or rare, and I'm the owner of it, but I fractionalize it into 100 parts. Does it mean that these 100 people, if 100 people buy it, they can access it simultaneously, or how would that work specifically?
People cannot access it simultaneously, right? As I said, it's a time-based ownership, and there will be governance rules that will be governing on what time people will be using it. Like maybe you have to, book your slot to play with that particular NFT if you have a tournament or something, and everything is mentioned in the governance rules and by the owner who fractionalizes it.
The fractions are basically like a timeshare fraction. It's for gaming assets specifically. So for just like how you would have your real estate timeshare, it's very similar to that, where you would basically 3 people own it or 4 people own it. They get 25% of the time for the usage of that in-game asset, and then whatever you get 25% of the revenue also from playing that game if there is earnings that you have in that game. So that's how
Understood. What's the difference then between just renting it out? Just to clarify, so when does it make sense to rent it out versus to fractionalize it then in this context?
So this happens. This is applicable only not only for games. It is applicable for all kind of entertainment NFTs, whether it's music or games or AR VR kind of stuff, where only gamers know. Mostly, like there is a sense of ownership that is very important on a particular asset, and you cannot just get it by renting it out. And also it carries a monetary value in secondary markets and all of this. So renting is also there as one of the options, but this gives a better sense of ownership on any kind of musical or entertainment asset that you own this particular game.